Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a topic that I think you'll find really fascinating.
Yeah.
Belief and success, but with a bit of a twist, We're looking at it through the lens of Buddhist philosophy.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we've got these excerpts from this text. And it really dives into this whole idea of believing in yourself, but also trusting in something larger than yourself, and how those two things can work together to help you achieve, well, pretty much anything, right?
Yeah, what I find so intriguing about this text is how it kind of flips the script on our usual ideas about success.
No, how so?
Well, so often we think of success as like something external,
Right.
like the fancy job, the big house, all those outward signs of, achievement.
Right. Yeah, the things you can show off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this Buddhist perspective, it really kind of turns that on its head.
Okay.
It says that true success, it doesn't start out there, it starts within you.
That's right. And that's where this whole idea of self-belief comes in.
Right.
The text really emphasizes that believing in yourself, that's the foundation.
Totally.
Like the bedrock of it all, right?
Yeah.
In fact, it even goes as far as to say that self-belief is like the single most important factor in achieving anything you want.
Yeah.
At first glance, you might think, oh, come on, that's just another one of those motivational cliches.
Yeah,
But the way this text explains it, it's actually pretty compelling.
absolutely. It's not just about, having a big ego
Right.
or thinking you're better than everybody else. It's not that kind of thing.
No. It's deeper than that.
It's more about this deep-seated trust in your own potential, your capacity to grow and learn,
Yeah.
your ability to actually make change happen in your life and the world.
It's like believing that you actually have the power to create the life that you want.
Yeah, and the text actually has this really great quote about that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
says, to blossom fully, let me see, the seed must first believe in its own power to become a flower.
Ooh, I like that. So, okay, we need this solid foundation of self-belief, but the text doesn't just stop there, does it? It's
Yeah.
not just about thinking positive thoughts, right?
No, not at all. It makes it very clear that belief has to be more than just a feeling.
Yeah.
It has to lead to action.
So what does that look like in practice?
Well, it's about taking risks,
Mm.
owning your choices, putting in the real work and effort to actually move towards your goals. And this is where things get really interesting because it ties directly into this core Buddhist concept of Dharma.
Okay, Dharma. Now, for those of us who haven't spent years, studying Buddhist texts, could you break that down a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
What does it actually mean, and how does it fit into all of this?
So Dharma is basically like your unique path, your purpose, the reason you're here. And what the text is saying is that real self-belief, it's about finding that Dharma and then taking action in a way that actually aligns with it.
So it's less about blind faith and more about informed action.
Exactly. And it's informed by something bigger than just your own little desires and whims.
Right. So it's like this two-way street, right? You need to believe in yourself enough to take action.
Yes.
But those actions should also be guided by something more than just what you personally want at any given moment.
Yeah, it's like you have this inner compass, right? That's pointing you in the right direction, but then you have to trust yourself enough to actually follow it.
Yeah, and they use a great example in the text to illustrate this.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it. He gets fired from his own company, a major setback,
Yeah.
but he doesn't just give up, right? He never loses sight of his mission,
That's the belief.
that belief in his vision.
Exactly.
That's ultimately what drives him to rebuild Apple and have this amazing comeback story. That unwavering belief in himself and his purpose. It's like having a superpower that helps you overcome even the biggest obstacles.
Yeah.
And speaking of powerful figures, there's another great example the text mentions, Albert Einstein.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We often think of him as this child prodigy,
Yeah.
but he actually struggled quite a bit in school. He wasn't always the top of his class. But his belief in his own ideas, even when other people doubted him, that's what fueled those groundbreaking theories that literally changed the world.
Total. It's that idea that self-belief isn't about being perfect from day one. It's about having the guts to keep going, even when things get tough, and trusting that you'll figure it out as you go.
It's interesting that both Jobs and Einstein, along with so many other successful people, talk about this sense of a force greater than themselves at play in their lives. And this is where the Buddhist perspective gets really fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not about believing in some kind of all-powerful deity like you might find in some religions, right?
Right.
Buddhism focuses more on this interconnected web of cause and effect, or what we know as karma.
Exactly.
And the text makes this point that we're all part of this larger whole. Our actions have these ripple effects that go way beyond just our own lives.
Yeah. And that kind of encourages a different perspective, right?
How so?
Well, instead of being in this constant competition with each other,
Yeah.
it's more about recognizing that we're all in this together.
So instead of constantly battling against each other, it's more about understanding how we're all connected and how our actions impact the world around us.
Exactly. And this is where this whole concept of karma comes in, which, the text goes into quite deeply, but we'll have to save that for next time.
Okay, cliffhanger. We'll pick up that thread in part 2 of our deep dive. So be sure to tune in. We'll unravel the mysteries of karma and explore how it fits into this whole synergy of belief.
So yeah, karma, it's one of those words you hear all the time, right?
Oh yeah, tossed around everywhere.
But I think a lot of people have this kind of limited understanding of what it really means.
Oh, for sure. Especially in a Buddhist context.
Right. It's kind of been reduced to this simple idea of like what goes around comes around.
Right, like almost a punishment system.
Yeah, exactly, like some cosmic scorecard. But the text really challenges that.
Oh, okay, so it's more nuanced than that.
Much more. It emphasizes that karma isn't just fate or some kind of predetermined destiny.
Okay, so it's not just saying everything's already decided for us.
No, not at all. It's more about recognizing the consequences of our actions and how those actions shape our reality.
So are you saying we're not just passive bystanders?
Right, we're active participants in shaping our own lives.
That's pretty empowering when you think about it.
It is. And the text argues that this is actually a key part of self-belief.
How so?
Well, because it means we're not just victims of circumstances. We have the power to change the course of our lives by making different choices.
Okay, so it's not just about believing in yourself, but also believing in your ability to make those choices.
Exactly. And it goes even further, suggesting that the universe, or what some people might call higher powers, actually supports us in this process.
Well, interesting. So we're not just doing it all on our own. There's a sense of, like, help along the way.
Yeah, like a kind of tailwind. But it's important to remember, it's still up to us to take action. We have to act in a way that aligns with both our personal goals and this greater good.
Right, so it's not like we just sit back and wait for the universe to do everything for us.
Definitely not. It's a partnership. We have to hold up our end of the bargain,
I'm starting to see how all of this ties back to that concept of dharma that we were talking about earlier.
It's all connected.
It's like we have free will, but also this responsibility to use it wisely.
Exactly. It's not just about what we want for ourselves, but how our actions impact the bigger picture. And the text really emphasizes the importance of mindfulness in all of this.
Okay, mindfulness. That's been popping up a lot in our conversation. Why is that so important in this context?
Well, it's about being present enough to actually recognize the opportunities that the universe is constantly throwing our way.
So if we're not paying attention, those opportunities might just slip right past us.
They could. We have to be aware, tuned in.
So mindfulness is key.
Yeah.
But the text also seems to be saying that there's something even more powerful than that, right? Like this special combination of self-belief and trust in something larger.
You got it. They say that's where the real magic happens.
Imagine.
The synergy, like it creates this unstoppable force.
And they use this great analogy in the text, right?
Right, yeah, the river.
The river analogy, it's so good. It says our own efforts are like one bank of the river and the universe's flow is the other. And together they create this powerful current that can carry us towards our goals.
Right.
But if we're constantly trying to swim against the current, well, we're just going to wear ourselves out.
Exactly. It's about working with the flow, not against it. Trusting that the universe has our back, even when we can't see the whole picture.
So it's almost like learning to dance with the universe. Sometimes we're leading, sometimes we're following, but we're always trying to move in harmony with this larger rhythm.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And that's where mindfulness comes back in. It helps us to stay in tune with that rhythm, to feel those subtle shifts, and adjust our steps accordingly.
Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, but I think a lot of people listening are probably thinking, okay, how do I actually do this? How do I develop this deep self-belief, this trust in something bigger, and this mindful awareness that brings it all together?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And luckily, the text doesn't just leave us hanging. It actually provides some very concrete tools and practices that we can use.
Oh, good. Because I think we're all ready for some practical advice.
We'll dive into those in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so we're back and ready to tackle the big question. How do we actually put this synergy of belief into practice? I mean, it all sounds fantastic, but I think a lot of us are probably wondering, like, okay, where do I even begin?
That's a great question. And the good news is this text doesn't just leave us with these kind of abstract concepts, it actually gives us some very practical tools.
Okay, good.
Practices that we can use to start cultivating this blend of self-belief and trust in something bigger.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give us the secret formula.
All right, so the text keeps coming back to mindfulness as the foundation for everything else.
Mindfulness, okay.
Remember, it's about cultivating this present moment awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, the world around you, all without judgment. And they actually suggest starting with just a simple mindfulness practice, even just a few minutes each day.
So are we talking like meditation here? Is that the only way to really develop mindfulness?
Meditation's a great tool, but it's not the only way. You can actually weave mindfulness into everyday activities too.
Oh, okay. Like what kind of things?
It could be as simple as paying attention to your breath while you're walking.
Okay.
Or really savoring each bite of food when you're eating a meal. Or just, giving someone your full, undivided attention when they're talking to you.
Oh, okay. So it's about bringing that awareness, that presence into everything we do, no matter how big or small.
Exactly. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes.
Okay.
It's like strengthening a muscle, right?
Yeah.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And as your mindfulness muscle gets stronger, you become more attuned to these kind of subtle cues from the universe, opportunities that might have slipped past you before.
I can see how that ties back to what we were discussing earlier about recognizing those synchronicities, those moments when things just click into place.
Yes, exactly. The more mindful you are, the better you can spot them.
Okay.
And that's where the self-belief piece comes in. When you trust yourself enough to actually act on those opportunities, even if they feel a little risky, a little unconventional, you start to create this momentum that can lead to some pretty amazing breakthroughs.
So it's like this amazing positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Mindfulness helps you see the opportunities, self-belief gives you the courage to take them, and the results you get from taking action just strengthen your belief in yourself and the universe's support. It just keeps building on itself.
Exactly. And the text also mentions how vital gratitude is in this process.
Gratitude, okay.
Taking the time to really appreciate the good things in your life, even the small things.
Yeah.
It shifts your focus from a place of lack to a place of abundance.
Yeah, gratitude's definitely a powerful force. It's hard to feel discouraged or doubtful when you're really consciously choosing to focus on all the good that you already have.
Right, and think about it. Gratitude is also a way of acknowledging the support that you're receiving from the universe, It's like saying, hey, universe, I see what you're doing for me and I appreciate it.
So it's like this open channel of communication where you're sending out these vibes of appreciation and the universe is responding by sending more good things your way.
Precisely. And that leads us to another key practice that the text highlights, setting intentions.
Intentions, okay.
When you set clear intentions for what you want to achieve, it's like planting these seeds, in this fertile ground of the universe. And when you tend to those seeds, with your actions, with your belief, with your gratitude, they can grow into something really magnificent.
Okay, so we've got mindfulness, gratitude, setting intentions. What else do we need in our synergy of belief toolbox? Is there anything we're missing?
One more, and it's a big one. Compassion.
Compassion, okay.
Buddhism really emphasizes compassion, not just for others, but also for yourself.
I think we often associate compassion with something we direct outward towards other people. How does self-compassion fit into this whole synergy of belief thing?
Well, the text makes the case that when you're kind and patient and forgiving towards yourself, you create this space for growth and learning.
Oh, okay.
You're less likely to get stuck in that cycle of self-doubt, fear of failure.
Yeah.
And it frees you up to take more risks and really step more fully into your power.
So instead of beating ourselves up over mistakes, we can kind of approach them with more of a sense of curiosity and understanding. Like, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time?
Exactly. And that's where that trust in something larger really comes in, because when you pair that self-compassion with the belief that the universe is ultimately guiding you, even your missteps can become these valuable lessons on the path to success.
It's like letting go of that need to be perfect
Yeah.
and just embracing the journey,
Yeah.
knowing that you're always supported, even when you stumble.
Exactly. And this is all starting to come together. Mindfulness, gratitude, intentions, compassion, self-belief, trust in the universe. It's like they all weave together to create this incredibly powerful picture of what's possible when we align ourselves with these principles.
And the best part is it's not about reaching some distant future state of enlightenment.
No.
It's about weaving these practices into our everyday lives, right?
Yeah, one step at a time. Even small changes can make a difference.
It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out from the get-go. You can start wherever you are, with whatever practices resonate most deeply for you right now.
Absolutely. There's this great quote from the Buddha that says, "We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world."
Wow.
And when you combine the power of your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions with the guiding force of the universe, you become this co-creator of your reality.
That's really powerful.
And that is the true essence of success.
You know, we've covered so much ground today, from self-belief to higher powers, from karma to compassion. But the message that really sticks with me is that we're not alone in this journey. We have the power within us, but we also have this incredible support system. All we have to do is tap into it.
You said it.
Yep.
And as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought. The Buddha said, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." Combine that self-love with trust in the universe, and just watch how your path to success unfolds.
What a beautiful and inspiring way to end our exploration. We encourage you to take some time to reflect on everything we've discussed today. How can you apply this synergy of belief in your own life? What intentions can you set? What actions can you take? Remember, the power is within you. Believe in yourself, trust in the universe, and watch the magic happen. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.